Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're looking again at transition activities and ideas of things you can do with your new class when you first kind of step in front of them for transition days. And this should be useful for you if you've got kind of one transition afternoon all the way up to something like my school does where you might do a few days. So we've got 2 days this year where we're doing with our new class. Some schools I know do up to a week. It just depends obviously on the school and the kind of flexibility of staff at that school at the time during the summer term and what days are available. But I'm going to go through with you what I'm going to do on my transition days with my new class and how I'm going to kind of get to know them and set out things ready for the new school year. So to begin with, when we start in transition, we've got 2 days. So I do quite a bit of time to kind of spread things out. And we have got a couple of fun activities planned in the afternoon. So I'm more going to think about what I'm going to do in the mornings and the types of things I want to have done by the end of transition ready for the new school year. So to start off with, I'm going to be setting out the kind of expectations of things that I want in the classroom. So when the children start in year 5, it is quite a big jump up from year 4. There is quite a few different expectations in terms of we're no longer kind of in lower key stage 2, we're in upper key stage 2. We're trying to make sure we're role models for the school. We're trying to make sure we're getting ready for year 6, which is a very big year for all primary school kids. And so those expectations do kind of step up a notch. And it comes down to a lot of kind of my teaching style, but also expectations of the class is that the work they do, we're going to be working in silence. We're going to be getting our work done. We're going to be making sure that there's not kind of any distractions. We're in class. We know we're here to work. We know we're here to do our best. And it's setting out that to say, look, guys, we're not here to kind of mess around. We're not here to do silly things. We're here to have a lot of fun as long as we get the work done in the first place. And it's about setting out that expectation straight away. Look, when you're in the classroom, you're here to work. We can deal with everything else around that and everything else besides that at break time, that kind of thing. But when you're in class, you're sat down, you're getting your work done, and then we're moving on to the next thing. There's so much to fit in across year 5 that you just really don't have time to mess with anything else. So it's about setting that expectation clear. Now, that does sound like quite a strict start and quite a stern start, and that's not meaning that I'm not going to have fun with the class, but I just set out that at the start to say, look guys, it's what we're here to do. And so we set those expectations of silence while we're working, of making sure we're listening to each other, of trying to do no hands up, which is always difficult, and it's something I really want to get better at next year, is that as a school we try and do the no hands up thing where I don't just pick children that have their hands up to answer questions. I'll pick children that I want to answer the question, and generally that means that's the ones that I want to know are paying attention. And so that's something I'm really going to focus at getting better myself at doing next year. But again, it's something I'd introduce early doors with a class in transition and say that you're welcome to put your hand up if you want to, but there's really no point in doing it because I'm going to pick on people that I want to answer the question rather than whoever's got their hand up, because otherwise we have the same 3 people putting their hand up all the time. So I'm going to make sure I kind of have that time in the morning first of all. Then we're going to do some kind of activity. So I want to do a kind of getting to know you activity where there'll be probably a few different games, things like the kind of bingo games where you go around and find another child that has got a different feature that is on the mat. So it might be, has a dog, has blonde hair, has been on holiday in the last year, is going away this summer, general different things where you go around and tick off as many as you can in a certain time limit. And obviously it's not really there for the children to get to know each other because they've been in the same class their whole primary school life. It's more for me to kind of hear while they're chatting who's going along with who, what types of things they've got, and just ticking off and seeing where they are as a class. Now we are going to try and do some kind of quick baseline bits as well with them. So I will be looking at things like their times tables, things like their reading, their quick bits of math. I'll probably have a go at doing some of the first little tester things that we'll do at the start of the year in year 5. And I want to try and get some of them done on the first day and then some of them done on the first day in September, just so again I can kind of have a comparison of where they were at the end of year 4 compared to where they are after the 6-week summer holidays, because wherever they are at the end of year 4 they will not be at that same point at the start of September, because over 6 weeks without school children forget a lot, and it just happens every single year. You have to really get to grips with where you leave your class at the end of your year group and they're right there and they've completed everything, and all of a sudden you get a class that's probably a bit below where they should be at the start because they've forgotten everything over summer, and you have to kind of adjust yourself to that jump, and everything you've just taught over the last year you now need to teach again because it's a new class that haven't had that teaching, and that's always an adjustment to make in September. So it's something I'm going to kind of try and get to grips with this year by doing a few baseline bits, and so I can see on paper where the children are and where they need to get to. Once we've done that, then I also want to do some artwork. So I'm thinking of our first topic next year, which is called, I think it's Sow, Grow and Farm. So farming topic's all about kind of the modern practices of farming, the geographical side of it, the impacts on the environment, that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to try and implement that and try and get a kind of big class piece done that I can have up on one wall display and get some nice artwork going, but also some individual pieces too where they can do one at a time. And then you can just cover the walls with some nice artwork, so when the children come back in September they can walk in and feel like the classroom's their own because they've got their own work up on the wall. And especially by doing a big class piece of work where they might do something in pairs and it all comes together into one big piece, then straight away they've got a bit of ownership of that. Everyone gets a chance to have a go at it. It doesn't matter if you're great at art, doesn't matter if you're not very great at art. You can all work together and put something together that'll look really good once it's all pulled into one big art piece. So that'll be probably our first day, and then like I said, in the afternoon we've got some fun stuff going on. I think there's some events going on at school, summer fair type of things. So we won't be doing too much in class that afternoon, but it'll be good to see them, and then obviously getting to know the parents as well at the summer fair and seeing how they all are and how they're interacting. And it's just a good chance to kind of get to know them and make sure I'm putting my face out there and they know who I am, so they know they can come to me if anything is needed at all. So that's the first day. That is transition day 1. Then we move on to transition day 2, and this is where we kind of keep doing some relatively similar stuff. So we'll play some game, we'll do some work, but it's all just about trying to assess where they are at that point. So I will have their assessments that are just done, but I'll have some bits that I want to do at the start of year 5 that I'll probably do twice. I'll probably do them at the end of year 4 and then again at the start of year 5, just to see where they are and where they've changed and how they've got. So we'll do some quick maths, arithmetic stuff, we'll do some quick maths reasoning stuff, some grammar stuff, some spellings. But they're not all going to be just sat down doing tests. They'll be in the form of fun activities, fun games, quizzes like Blookit, which if you've not seen it, then I will, obviously if you go have a look at the description or my previous videos, I've got a few videos about it. It's a really, really good tool that you can use to play some different games on. So do go check those videos out, because I'll try and link them up there. But yeah, really, really good tool, and I'll be using that quite a lot over transition to get the children into doing it. And I know they've been using it with the year 4 teacher, because I showed the other teachers in my school how to use it, and she's got really on board with it and has used it a lot in her class, so they'll be very good at it straight away. But yeah, we'll get that started too, so I've got a good idea where they are. But that is pretty much it for transition. It's just all about getting to know the class, them getting to know you, making sure you set those expectations out, because once they're set, then it's a lot easier to kind of keep them there. If you don't set them high enough, then it's really hard to push them back up again. So do try and set them a bit higher than maybe you would normally expect, but you'll realise in September it's worth it if you can keep them there, because your class will do really, really well if you've got your expectations that you're happy with. And most of all, I'm going to try and make sure we have a bit of fun, because it is the last few days of the school year. It should hopefully be really nice weather, and so we can keep it going and enjoy ourselves, especially in the afternoons when we're doing some fun bits and pieces. But yeah, it'll be really exciting. It's one of my favourite times of the year, getting to know a new class, moving on, and hopefully you guys have found this video useful, and hopefully your transition activities with your class will go really well as well. So thank you very much for watching this. As always, a new video on a Tuesday, a Friday and a Sunday, and I will see you very soon.